I had been with my boyfriend for 3 years. I noticed that all of his social media handles were July. I assumed he just loved the romantic month of July and never pressed him on it. Until our wedding day, when his ex-girlfriend sent a gift. The name on the card was Julia. I finally understood. He didn't love July. He loved Julia. In that instant, my heart sank to the bottom of a pit. At my wedding to Ethan, a girl in a white dress had too much to drink. Ethan, his face dark, told her to stop making a scene. She ignored him and instead smiled at me. "Sister, I hear you're pregnant. Have you picked a name for the baby yet?" I cradled my belly and answered gently. "We're calling her July for now." July. Her gaze shifted to Ethan, her smile widening until tears welled in her eyes. "How could you call her July? He doesn't want July anymore." My expression froze, confused. In the tense silence, Ethan's childhood friend was the first to speak. "Sister, in-law, my classmate is just drunk. I'll take her to her hotel." After they left, I couldn't help but ask Ethan, my voice tentative, "Honey, who was that?" Ethan looked at me, his focus complete, his expression betraying nothing. "An old classmate." I wanted to ask more, but he quickly changed the subject. "Honey, one of my clients from the company is drunk. I need to go check on them." "All right." I forced the words out, swallowing all my questions. I don't know why, but watching his hurried departure, a sense of unease settled over me. My best friend, Mia, found me, holding a delicate gift box. She tossed it in front of me, her words blunt. "Clara, this is from your rival." Rival. My heart leaped, and the image of the girl in the white dress flashed in my mind. My face grew paler. "That girl who was crying her eyes out over there," Mia said, puffing out her cheeks and rolling her eyes. "Crying over someone else's groom like that. So shameless." Hearing this, my unease deepened. Mia patted my shoulder comfortingly, her tone certain. "Don't you worry. Your Ethan is a famously doting husband. He would never do anything to hurt you." She was right. Ethan spoiled me rotten. Everyone said I had married for love. I shouldn't doubt him. I let out a long breath, deciding not to torment myself. As I chatted with Mia, I idly toyed with the gift box. Suddenly, the name on the box caught my eye. I looked closer. Her name was Julia. Wait, Julia. July. The string in my mind snapped. I gaped, my posture slumping as if my spine had given out. My world went black. "Clara, why are you crying? Don't scare me. Where's Ethan? Get Ethan for me. I need to see him. I need to see him." Okay, I'll get Ethan. You're pregnant. You can't be crying like this." My hands trembling, I handed Mia my phone. I desperately needed to know where Ethan was. My voice was shaking uncontrollably. "I want to video call him." Mia nodded. The moment she placed the call, Ethan rejected it. I clutched the hem of my veil, my face tilted upward, but tears streamed down uncontrollably. "Call him again." After countless rejections, Ethan finally answered with a voice call. His voice was a little hoarse. "Honey, what's wrong? Where are you?" At this point, I couldn't hold back my emotions any longer. "I'm at." He hesitated for half a second, then changed the subject. "I'm coming back right now." I asked, almost hysterically, "Are you at the hotel? You went to find her, didn't you?" I couldn't continue. I leaned against the wall, helpless, my voice thick with tears. "Ethan, tell me, who is Julia?" The other end of the line went silent. I clutched my chest and sobbed, crying until I was gasping for air, until no more tears would come. I felt so pathetic. On my wedding day, my husband's old flame showed up, and he abandoned me to go to a hotel with her. What was even more pathetic was that I had been with Ethan for 3 years. All of his social media handles were July. Even after I got pregnant, when I asked him what we should name our baby, he had blurted out, "July," without a second thought. Though I had wondered what special meaning that month held for him, I had respected him and never pressed the issue. It was only today that I learned his old flame's name was Julia. How could he so calmly use my child to commemorate their love? What was I to him? What did my 3 years mean? I didn't understand. If his heart wasn't free, why did he get with me? What did I do wrong? Half an hour later, Ethan burst into the room, covered in sweat. He asked Mia to leave, wanting to talk to me alone. "What do you want to talk about?" I lifted my red, swollen eyes, and looked at him blankly. He knelt before me, his expression flat. Julia is my ex-girlfriend. How long were you together? 7 years. How long have you been broken up? For years. Do you still love her? Ethan said nothing. His silence was an admission. I wanted to laugh, but the more I laughed, the more I cried. Why are you two like this? She can't let you go, so she comes to ruin my wedding. You can't let her go, so you abandoned me to find her. Ethan, what did I do to deserve being tormented by you two like this? I cried as I tore at my veil. Can you just stop? Ethan's lips were a thin line as he held my hands. Nothing happened between us. I just went to check on her. I stared at him, my eyes wide. I couldn't believe he could say such a thing so matter-of-factly. So from now on, whenever she cries, you'll just drop me and run to her? I asked hysterically. Ethan was silent again. After what felt like an eternity, I heard his voice. I will marry you. Just pretend this never happened. My vision went black. It was as if a bolt of lightning had struck me. A piercing pain, followed by a surge of immense anger. He thought this wedding was a favor to me. I didn't want it. I really didn't. I staggered back, collapsing against the wall, my face pale, my body breaking out in a cold sweat. The baby inside me, as if sensing my pain, gave a small kick. But for me, it was agony. I clutched my stomach, my heart filled with sorrow. Baby, this is your first kick. How could it happen at a time like this? Ethan frowned and reached out to help me up. I screamed at him uncontrollably. Don't touch me. You're filthy. Don't be like this, please. Ethan stared at my stomach and sighed. I never intended to leave you. Really. Hearing that just made me sick. He was so disgusting. If I had never met him, I could have had a clean, pure love. I could have been happy. He had ruined me. I grabbed my phone and threw it at him. The wedding is off. We're getting a divorce right now. Ethan was stunned. A few seconds later, his face grew cold, his words dripping with sarcasm. You come from a single-parent family yourself. Do you really think your mother will let you get a divorce while you're pregnant? I never thought Ethan would use my family history to hurt me. My heart felt as if it had been carved into 1,000 pieces, each one being gnawed, eroded, and pierced. I held my head and leaned against the wall, sobbing, crying until my throat was hoarse. I didn't even notice when he left. After that day, Ethan and I were in a complete Cold War. I moved back to my own home. As Ethan had said, I came from a single-parent family. Before my father passed away, my mother had lived in a widow-like marriage, so she couldn't empathize with me. When Ethan came to pick me up, she couldn't wait for me to go back. Ethan has already given you a way out. Just take it. My mother urged me. Stop hiding in your room. Come out. I practically begged her. Mom, please make him leave. You're already pregnant. What are you making a fuss about? You have to swallow this. I can't. I just can't. Marriage is about turning a blind eye. She pulled back the covers and met my red eyes, her tone softening slightly. Besides, Ethan didn't cheat on you. That's not it. Emotional cheating is far more terrifying than physical cheating. My voice was full of despair. We were together for 3 years. He was sleeping next to me, but thinking about another woman. What does that make me? You just overthink things. Let me tell you, no matter what happens, don't even think about divorce. I can't afford the shame. This was the first time I had ever disobeyed her. I'm getting a divorce. My mother looked at me with a look of disappointment. In the end, it's because you're not good enough, isn't it? If you were perfect, I don't believe Ethan would still be thinking about his ex. Mom. I cut her off, my ears ringing. I didn't want to hear another word. I'm begging you, please stop, please. An endless wave of grief spread through my chest, so much that my eyes could no longer hold back the tears. I'm not the one who's wrong. Why am I being blamed? Does the world have to be so absurd? I was forced to go back with Ethan. In our marital home, he handed me his phone. Look for yourself. After we broke up, I never contacted her again. I didn't take it. I just sneered. Does that mean she's not in your heart? Ethan didn't answer. He gripped his phone, his knuckles white. After a long moment, he opened his messaging app and searched for Julia's name. The latest message, in a group chat with their classmates, he had said, I'm getting married. His classmates, as if on cue, had asked, why didn't Julia tell us? he had replied. It's not with her. The group chat fell silent. A few minutes later, Julia had tagged him. Congratulations. I definitely can't miss your wedding. He hadn't refused. He had even said, okay. On our wedding day, Julia had come, wearing a white gauze dress, sitting in the audience like a bride. Ethan, standing next to me at the altar, had choked up several times, barely able to keep his composure. At the time, my best friend had envied me. Clara, you married the right man. Ethan actually cried during his vows. He's so in love. Looking back now, I couldn't help but laugh. Ethan's acting was brilliant. Everyone thought that as he was saying his vows. His mind was filled with the years we had spent together. But he was clearly worried about Julia, who was sitting in the audience, crying. Do you see now? I told you. Julia and I are completely innocent. Ethan's voice pulled me back to reality. I closed my eyes, about to tell him to get lost, when his childhood friend's call came in. On the other end, his friend's voice was urgent. Ethan, Julia is in the hospital. Ethan's body stiffened. He looked at me with a complicated expression. I have to go out. We're not even divorced yet. How can he so openly see another woman? I grabbed his arm like a madwoman. Ethan, I forbid you to go. Ethan pinched the bridge of his nose in frustration, his tone reproachful. Can't you be as understanding as you used to be? Why have you become so unreasonable? I turned and pushed open the door, telling him to get out. Just as Ethan left, I received a text from an unknown number. Clara, Ethan doesn't love you. Give him back to me. Watching him get married is worse than death. To be honest, before I received this text, I had never blamed Julia. I only hated Ethan. Hated him for being so cruel, for building his love for one woman on the pain of another. But now, looking at this text, I realized they were two of a kind, equally disgusting, equally selfish. Since they were so in love, they should just be locked away together and not come out to harm others. But before Ethan and I were officially divorced, Julia was just a mistress who couldn't be seen in the light of day. A mistress has no right to be arrogant in front of the original wife. Fighting back my disgust, I texted her sarcastically. Julia, where were you before? Do you have a thing for other people's husbands? She quickly replied. Ethan and I were in love for 7 years. If we're talking about the other woman, I'm not on the list. Besides, the one who isn't loved is the other woman. According to her logic, she thought I had ruined her 7-year relationship with Ethan. Was she? That's shameless. I didn't believe a person could be so shameless until she bombarded me with texts. Stop clinging to Ethan. Do you believe that if I want him, he'll be by my side in an instant? She continued to provoke me. Clara, just divorce him. You know you can't compete with me. But I never intended to compete with her. When I found out that another woman was living in Ethan's heart, I had only one thought. Divorce and divide the assets. A soiled man. She wanted him. I'd let her have him. After blocking Julia, I called my best friend. Mia, can you come with me to the hospital? Your tone doesn't sound right. Are you sick? I'm coming over. Mia rushed over, arriving in less than 20 minutes. The moment I opened the door, she was clearly shocked. What's happened to you lately? How did you let yourself get into this state? I told her the whole story about Ethan and Julia. My face was expressionless. My tone so natural it was as if I were telling someone else's story. I just didn't expect the story to be so tragic that Mia burst into tears on the spot. She told me, her voice choked with sobs. Clara, it's Ethan and that bitch who are in the wrong. They'll get what's coming to them. You've done nothing wrong. Your good days are still ahead of you. I hadn't wanted to cry, but Mia's comfort made the tears well up again. I covered my face with a tissue, my voice thick. I have an appointment this afternoon. I have to go to the hospital. Mia gently touched my swollen belly, almost crying out loud. The baby is already 5 months old. My heart was pierced with pain. Tears fell onto my belly, one by one. I'm sorry, baby. I'm so sorry. Mommy can't keep you. At the hospital, after all the tests were done, the doctor asked me hesitantly, the baby is already formed. Are you sure you don't want it? Fearing the baby would be sad, I whispered, yes. The doctor nodded and had me lie on the cold operating table. A steel needle was slowly inserted into my tailbone. After one injection, my consciousness gradually faded. When I woke up again, I was in a hospital room. Mia told me the baby was gone. Although I had prepared myself for this, when I touched my now flat stomach, I still felt as if a large hole had been carved out of my body. A cold wind kept blowing in, so cold that I trembled all over. My 5-month-old baby, taken away. How could it not hurt? I felt like I had lost a part of myself. I didn't even dare to think about it anymore. Whenever I thought of the baby, my heart felt like it was being pricked with a needle, so painful that tears would fly from my eyes. But baby, mommy can't give you happiness. Don't blame mommy. Mommy hopes that in your next life, you will be born into a happy and loving family. Someone to spoil you. Someone to love you. A life without worries. A long and happy life. When Mia handed me my phone, she said, "While you were in surgery, Ethan called a few times." I didn't answer. I nodded, my heart like a still lake as I blocked Ethan. I leaned back on the hospital bed, my mind gradually clearing. The baby wasn't just my baby. It was Ethan's too. The baby was gone. How could I keep it from him? My voice was weak as I called out to Mia. "Can you put the surgery bill, the medical records, together and give them to Ethan? Just tell him I'm giving him his July back." Mia agreed. She hesitated for a long moment before finally steeling herself to ask, "Do you want to put the baby in there too?" My heart clenched, and tears streamed down my face. I just want to make sure Ethan can never rest in peace. My baby, I hope he can rest in peace. After receiving my gift, Ethan reportedly stayed in bed for a week. A week later, he came to Mia's house to settle the score with me. Mia opened the door and let him look at me, and then slowly settle it. He stormed in, but the moment he glanced at me, his furious expression froze. He looked at my frail form, opened his mouth, but couldn't say a word for a long time. He kept taking deep breaths, his jaw clenching and unclenching. After composing himself, he finally spoke, his voice trembling slightly. "Do you hate me that much? You'd rather do this to yourself than have my child?" I nodded calmly, with no extra words. "Yes." He turned his face away, unable to look at me. I remembered that Ethan had always loved children. The day he found out I was pregnant, he had picked me up and spun me around several times. He, who had never touched a kitchen utensil in his life, would follow recipes to make me nutritious meals. In the early stages of my pregnancy, I was always nauseous. He would search for all sorts of remedies online and try them with me one by one, until I felt a little better. Later, as my belly grew bigger, he would take a walk with me every day, because he had heard that walking would make childbirth less painful. I would laugh at him. "What do you, a man, know about these things?" He would say, "Honey, you're willing to have my child. That means you love me to the fullest. I will definitely be good to you." He had also said, "Honey, I will be good to you for the rest of my life." I never thought that a lifetime could be so short. The moment Julia appeared, that lifetime was over. Remembering these things, my eyes started to feel a little, but only a little. I knew very well that these were all lies he had woven for me. No matter how beautiful, lies can never become the truth. He had his Julia, and I had my own path to walk. I said lightly, "Tomorrow, I will send you the divorce agreement." He turned his head in disbelief, a hint of anger in his brow. "Are you in such a hurry?" I said nothing, choosing to remain silent. He laughed in anger, his hand and voice trembling. "Are you that heartless? You can just stop loving me like that." It was rare to see him with such an expression. I also laughed, because my principles don't allow me to pick a man from the trash heap. After saying that, I felt an unprecedented sense of relief. Ethan was frozen in place. I glanced at Mia. She understood and quickly opened the door, ushering him out. Mia was afraid that Ethan would upset me. She fluttered around me like a little sparrow, trying to distract me. "Clara, I have something to confess to you." "What is it?" "That day you asked me to deliver the gift box to Ethan. Although I didn't put the baby in it, I did print a bunch of the baby's photos and stuffed them in." When Ethan opened the box, he was completely stunned. Mia peeked at me. "Clara, you're not mad at me, are you? He's the baby's father too. There's no harm in him seeing the baby." "That's true. But I was just afraid he would make things difficult for you during the divorce. I should have been more patient." I was calmer than I had expected. "I will find a way to get evidence of his affair. He can't make things difficult for me." Mia tilted her head and looked at me, then suddenly laughed. Clara, I think you've changed. I know. To deal with a scumbag, you can only become stronger. It's good. It's good. She said it was good, but her eyes were red. Perhaps because I had been through so much lately. I was thinking more clearly than ever before. I patted her shoulder and smiled at her. Don't be sad for me. I'd rather face the storm and control my own life than be a flower in a greenhouse. A week later, I sent Ethan the divorce agreement, which had been repeatedly reviewed by my lawyer. I waited for several days, but did not receive the signed agreement back. So I had to unblock him. I found his number and dialed it. He answered in a single second. Honey. I didn't expect him to still call me that. I was dazed for half a second, then frowned. Ethan, is there a problem with the divorce agreement? No. When will you sign it? Some other day. When is? Some other day. On the other end of the line, I heard the sound of a lighter. After about half a minute, he finally spoke. Do you have to get a divorce? I didn't quite understand what he was thinking. We had no child, no ties. What was he hesitating about? My tone was not friendly. This question is getting old. Ethan sneered and gritted his teeth. Fine. Another week passed, and Ethan still had not sent me the signed divorce agreement. On the other hand, Julia was constantly harassing me, pressuring me to leave Ethan as soon as possible. She was just asking for trouble. I didn't have to put up with her. I said, I sent Ethan the divorce agreement last month, but he won't sign it. What can I do? Julia didn't believe me. She wrote a long essay to prove Ethan's love for her. Ethan and I were together in college. The year we graduated was the hardest. We were squeezed into a tiny rental, eating one bowl of fried rice, drinking hot water. But I wasn't bitter. He was so good to me. He spoiled me like a child. He would always give me a bouquet of flowers for every holiday and birthday. He never missed a gift. After we moved in together, he would have breakfast ready for me when I woke up. In the evening, he would get me hot water to soak my feet. He did all the housework. All of his friends knew about me, because all of his social media handles were July. July is the same as Julia. He even told his friends that if he didn't marry Julia, they didn't have to come to his wedding. Even my parents said that I had found the best man in the world. If we hadn't broken up, how could you have married him? He doesn't love you. Let him go. After reading it, I found that I wasn't angry at all. I even felt sorry for her. She thought that Ethan had given her a unique love, but she didn't know that Ethan had also done all those things for me. The reason I had been willing to marry Ethan was because he had been so good to me. I didn't want to take my anger out on her anymore. My tone was polite. All right, I'll go and talk to him about the divorce today. Less than a second after I sent the text, my phone rang. I answered. On the other end was Julia's shrill voice. Clara, are you a bitch? Don't go and seduce Ethan. You're not allowed to see him. If I don't force him to sign the agreement, you'll never see the light of day. I don't believe he won't sign. You must have pulled some trick. What did you do to him? Julia was almost hysterical. I deliberately mocked her. You have time to come and vent your anger on me. Why don't you go and pressure him? Didn't you say he loves you very much? If he loves you, how can he bear to let you be the other woman? After hearing that, Julia immediately hung up. I sighed. I was glad I had come to my senses in time and had not become her. After recovering at Mia's house for over a month, I returned to the company. Perhaps because the marriage had hit me so hard, I no longer looked for love. Instead, I threw myself into my work. My colleagues were surprised and couldn't help but ask, Clara, why have you been working so much overtime lately? Does your husband let you work so hard? My pen paused. I looked up and answered frankly, I'm filing for divorce. What? My colleagues quickly gathered around, their faces full of surprise. You two were so good together. Why the sudden divorce? I don't know any big principles. I just know that if you can't love anymore, you should let go. Dwelling on it will only destroy you. Not wanting to discuss my private life with my colleagues too much, I just smiled and changed the subject. My colleagues sighed a few times and didn't ask any more questions. After work, a colleague ran over to me with a look of gossip. Clara, your husband is waiting for you downstairs. I didn't want to see him. I walked to the left window, pushed it open. The sky was a hazy yellow, against the setting sun. I couldn't see his expression. I could only see that his head was slightly bowed. His body slumped a little. There was an indescribable loneliness about him. I casually took a photo and sent it to Julia. Even without any words, Julia was as angry as a cornered cat. Because the next second, I saw Ethan answer his phone. They said something I couldn't hear. Ethan raised his phone high, as if he were about to smash it on the ground. In a flash, he looked up in my direction. Our eyes met. He stood there, stunned, as tense as a drawn bow. I curled my lips and smiled at him brightly. Half an hour later, I received a message from Julia, with a picture and a caption. The caption: Clara, don't be so smug. I told you, whenever I need him, he will drop everything and come to me. In the picture, Ethan was leaning against a window, a cigarette in his mouth, the smoke so thick you couldn't see his expression. When we were first together, he also loved to smoke. After I got pregnant, for the baby's sake, he had quit. He had said that he had only started smoking when his life was dark and without light. He had also said that this time, he would quit for good, and no matter how hard things got, he would never smoke again. I pulled my thoughts back and deliberately replied to her. Is that something to brag about? It's not like he slept with you. Julia was so angry she was speechless. A few days later, Ethan's company had its annual party. Julia sent me another photo. He brought me to the company's annual party. We're back together. Oh, come to think of it, I had helped Ethan a lot in his entrepreneurial success. 3 years ago, when Ethan was just starting out and was short on funds, I had borrowed $1 million from Mia to help him get through it. Later, during the company's development stage, I had also accompanied him to social events. Everyone in the company knew that I was Ethan's wife. When they saw Julia openly holding Ethan's arm at the annual party, there was bound to be some gossip. At this time, the company's vice president specially came to chat with me. Sister-in-law, I haven't seen you at the company lately. I've been a little busy, I replied, pretending to be ignorant. I see. Sister-in-law, I saw a woman with Mr. Ethan. I wonder if she's his sister. What woman? Can you send me a picture? That's not a good idea. I'm afraid Mr. Ethan will blame me if he finds out. Don't worry, I won't tell him. After a long hesitation, the vice president, Mr. Henderson, finally sent me a photo of Ethan and Julia together. Any more? Mr. Henderson took a few more. In the first photo, Julia had her arms around Ethan's neck, taking a selfie with him intimately. Ethan's brow was slightly furrowed, as if he had had too much to drink. In the second, Julia was sitting on Ethan's lap. In the third, Julia had collapsed in his arms. Good. Intimate enough. I never thought Julia would be so shameless. She sent me a photo of a used condom. Who said Ethan wouldn't touch me? Well, he did. The photo was so dirty I couldn't bear to look at it. After a long pause, I asked, with just this picture, why should I believe it's Ethan? Soon, a photo of a bare-chested man was sent. Fearing she would delete it, I quickly saved it. In the photo, Ethan's eyes were closed, and Julia's fair hand was on his lips. The atmosphere was overly ambiguous. Very good. This is the evidence of his affair that I wanted. I printed 3 copies of all the photos Julia and Mr. Henderson had given me. I sent one to Ethan, one to the court, and the other to my mother. I sued Ethan for adultery, demanding that he leave the marriage with nothing. The court quickly accepted the case. The day Ethan received the court summons, he contacted me using his childhood friend's phone. I've seen the photos. We were married once. There's no need to make things so ugly. If you want a divorce, I agree. Okay. How will the assets be divided? The bank cards, the marital home. You can have them. We'll split the company shares. No. I want 51% of the shares. He was like a wilted eggplant, completely lifeless. Whatever I said, he agreed to. Fine. Consider it my compensation to you and the baby. Immediately, I hung up. A week later, Ethan and I were officially divorced. The day after he transferred the shares to me, I sold 49% of them to Mr. Henderson. In the company, Mr. Henderson and Ethan held equal shares. They were in a stalemate, balancing each other out. And the 2% of the shares in my hand could change the ownership of the company at any time. By holding this 2%, I was holding Ethan's lifeblood in my hands. If Ethan ever annoyed me, I would just give the 2% to Mr. Henderson. From then on, Ethan never dared to provoke me again. I don't know why, but even though I was divorced, Julia still relentlessly harassed me. She would curse me without reason. Clara, you're so shameless. How dare you take so much of Ethan's property? I would say. Ethan was willing to give it to me. She was furious. Ethan gave you money because he felt guilty about his dead child, not because he had any feelings for you. It's all your fault for being so vicious, for scaring him with the baby's photos. I replied with one last sentence. The vicious ones are not me, but you too. I blocked her again. I officially said goodbye to a messy past. Life was finally peaceful. When Mia came to visit my villa, she revealed a secret to me. After you and Ethan divorced, Ethan called me. What did he want? Mia propped her chin on her hand and recalled. He had said, when I saw Clara after her abortion, she was lying in bed like a soulless shell, as if she could die at any moment. At that moment, I was truly scared. I won't contact her again. Please take good care of her for me. Mia had cursed him. You're so unlucky. Belated affection is cheaper than grass. Get as far away as you can and don't bother us again. After hearing that, I let out a sad laugh. It really was true what they say. You always want what you can't have. One day, I was walking down the street and ran into Ethan's childhood friend. He greeted me. Sister. In law. Julia didn't marry Ethan. Julia is very dramatic. If Ethan doesn't do what she wants, she'll cut her wrists. Ethan is afraid of her. I didn't want to hear what he had to say next. I shot him a cold look. What does that have to do with me? Don't bother me. This life. Let the two of them torture each other. I would be happy on my own. Epilogue. Ever since the big fight with my mother, I had not been home. A divorce is no small matter. I had to tell her eventually. On Sunday, I went back. I looked around the house, but she didn't seem to be home. So I asked a neighbor, Auntie, do you know where my mother is? The aunt pointed ahead and said, go and check the street. She's probably there selling oranges. I couldn't help but frown. Why is an old lady selling oranges in the middle of winter? I hurried down the street. Around the corner, I saw my mother arguing with a burly man over some oranges. You young man, you've already eaten 2. How can you not buy any? What's wrong with eating a few? I don't want to buy them, so I won't. Don't try to guilt trip me into a forced sale. My mother grabbed his sleeve and shouted, how can you bully an old woman? I think you old lady are just desperate for money. You're making a fuss over 2 oranges. Seeing that the burly man was about to push my mother, I quickly ran over and blocked him. If you have a problem, take it up with me. Don't touch my mother. The burly man met my cold gaze and walked away, cursing. My mother was still complaining. Young people these days have no manners. They don't buy things, but they still want to eat other people's. You're unbelievable. Why are you, an old woman, arguing with a young man? Can your body withstand a push from him? If I hadn't come early, I might have seen you in the hospital next. My mother lowered her head and said nothing. She picked up the oranges that the burly man had knocked over, one by one, wiped them on her clothes, and put them back in the basket. Looking at her red, chapped hands, I became even angrier. It's so cold today. You're not staying at home, and you're out here selling rotten oranges. Her hand paused. She murmured, I have to make money. What money do you have to make? Don't I usually give you money? She looked up at me and said, you're divorced. You have no one to rely on. I don't know what will happen in the future. I have to save more money for you. I've suffered for half my life. I know how hard it is to live alone. A pain shot through my heart, and tears slowly rolled down my face. She really is a stubborn old lady. She stubbornly believed that divorce was a difficult and bad thing. In truth, divorce is not the opposite of marriage. You get married for happiness. You get divorced for it too.